Hey guys, welcome to Riana's Lens, where I interact with you about the components in the STEM field and introduce you to fascinating people who passionately inhabit the scientific and technical frontiers of our society. My name is Riana Malhotra, and I'm absolutely elated to share this podcast with all of you. On this episode, I'm joined by a guest who's a student at University of Toronto studying computer engineering with a minor in AI and business. She's also actively interested in design teams that engineer technologies for the future, like aUToronto, which is UofT's car club that designs level 4 autonomous cars. Some of you may know her as Riana's sister, and others who have watched previous episodes may know her as the girl that began asking me what was photosynthesis when I was like 2. I'm so glad to welcome and introduce Riya Malhotra. Thank you so much for coming on after all that incessant nagging and convincing.
Thank you, Riana, for that wonderful introduction. I'm so glad to be on your podcast. And I've realized that after listening to your multiple episodes of Riana's Lens, I should elevate the standard of my questions and ask you more than just, what is photosynthesis?
I think that's really good to hear, to know that you're my number one fan, especially.
Of course.
But
Yeah,
I
of
think,
course.
but I think
No
it's my time to ask you questions, so don't steal my thunder.
Bring it on, sis. I'm ready
Yeah.
to spill some tea. This is your
The Gen Z conversation skills.
Gen Z colloquial language. You
Right.
guys still say language, or is it lang?
No, it's still language. We don't go that cringy.
Right. Okay.
Jokes aside, let's get back on topic since this podcast is about STEM. Right. So I know that you're extremely passionate about these autonomous cars. So can you begin by explaining what exactly is aUToronto and what's your role in the team?
So aUToronto is an autonomous car club, and it's UofT's only autonomous car team. And we compete in the SAE and General Motors self-driving car competition along with 8 other college teams. And as of now, we've participated in 3 legs of the competition, and we have ranked number 1 in all of those 3 legs. Side brag, but yeah, we've ranked number 1 in all of those legs. In fact, this summer, that is next month, we will be competing again in the 4th leg of the competition. So fingers crossed for that one. I hope that it goes well. To answer the second part of your question, which is what is my role on the team, I have been on this team for 2 years now, and I have taken up several roles from time to time. I think the first role that I took up was actually the lead marketing engineer, or the marketing lead, like they call it. So that basically was a starting out role. I still do it, but it was the starting out role that I took on. And what was entailed in that role was that I had to manage the interactions of the club within and beyond the University of Toronto. So it was talking to sponsors, talking to research labs, talking to industry professionals, and just getting the word out about self-driving cars, because it's an upcoming technology. So just getting the word out about that's the first role that I took on. The second role that I took on was that of an electrical engineer, where I did physical calculations for the car, and I did basically testing metrics and electrical hardware. I worked with the electrical hardware for the car. And this year, I hope to take on another role, which works with the perception of the car, which is basically how the car sees the world around it. So object detection, image recognition, computer vision, and that's like the peak AI role. That's like your peak AI role. Like that's something every computer engineer dreams of doing at least once in their life. So I'm very glad to be hopefully doing that role soon.
I think it's really great that you're taking on many roles. You can test your waters in which place you actually want to be in. And also,
Yeah.
congratulations for winning in 3 consecutive years.
Yes.
Also,
Thank you very much. Mhm. Go
since
ahead.
you're part of the team, how do
Mhm.
self-driving cars really work?
That's a great question. So, well, autonomous cars are a combination of a lot of technological prowess. So, we use a wide array of sensors and software just so that the car can see, the car can navigate, and the car can take decisions at its own accord on the roads. So, it's very difficult to do that, but there's a lot that goes into it. So, for instance, we have to account for traffic lights. We have to account for the signs on the road. We have to account for lane keeping. Is the car in the same lane that it's supposed to be in, or is it changing lanes? We don't want to be change. We don't want the car to be changing lanes like auto rickshaws do in Mumbai. So we want it to continue going down the same lane that it is, and then detecting objects on the road. If there's somebody crossing the road, it shouldn't just bump into that person. It should see that there's somebody crossing the road, even if it's an animal crossing the road. It should account for that. So these are the decisions that we have to take care of when we're building a self-driving car. To give you a little bit more information, there are 6 levels of autonomy that a car needs to reach. So the first level is a very basic, like that's not even like level zero. We call it level zero. So level zero is not even a self-driving car. That's just a car. That's all that it is. Like it doesn't have any systems that are controlled automatically. All the systems are controlled by people. Then we have level one. Level one is where certain systems are autonomous. Now, this you see in your day to day, like where the brakes are autonomous, or like just some systems are autonomous. And then you have level two, where several systems are autonomous, and all of these systems work simultaneously. So the car has achieved the ability to simultaneously um, like automate a lot of its functions. And then you have level three. Level three is where the car passes some more tests, and you have a little bit more confidence in the car than you had before. But you're not so confident. Like you're not so. Let me give you an analogy. So if so level 0 to 2, you can take it as a child on a bicycle with training wheels. And then level 3, you can take it as a child who's recently removed those training wheels off the bicycle, but is still taking help of a parent when going down a road. So in the same way, level 3 autonomy is achieved when you have some confidence in the car's abilities, but not as much. So a driver is still in the driving seat and still managing the car a little bit. Like for instance, if there's an emergency, then the driver will have to immediately catch hold of the car and take on the functions of the road. Then you have level 4. Level 4 is where we are designing right now. So we've achieved level 0, 1, 2, 3. We're at level 4. So level 4 autonomy will be achieved when most of the tests that we have are cleared. So the car passes most of the tests, but the, you still lack confidence. Like you're not 100% sure. You can say it's an 80, maybe 80 is an overreach, maybe 75% sure. And then we have level 5, where you've worked on everything. You've polished every single thing down to the fact that it comes to be 100% perfect. That is the dream. That is where Waymo is working for. That is what Tesla is working for. That's what General Motors is working for. So all the big shots are working for the same thing that a small team at University of Toronto is working towards as well.
I think the people that are designing these autonomous cars, it comes with great ethical responsibility to ensure the safety of the passengers that may
Mm-hmm.
drive in these cars maybe in the future. So do you also use these sensors to test if all the criterias are working?
So we don't use sensors to test per se. Sensors are just to view how does the car see. The car sees with the help of these sensors. So these sensors are like radar or lidar. If you've seen, most self-driving cars have that rotating lidar on top That is how the car sees a 360-degree view of the entire environment it is in. So that's sensor. So let's keep that aside. Talking about testing, well, at the University of Toronto, we have our own testing facility called UTIUS, where we test our car from time to time. So we have metrics. So we have what are those called, traffic lights. We have traffic lights. We have traffic signs like the right turn, left turn, U-turn, all of those signs. We have the lights, the signs, the anything that could be coming on the road, like I spoke to you about object detection. So if we have dummies that act like people or animals that might enter into the car's path. So we have all of those testing metrics, and we test with those. And the car gets tested multiple times. Every time we add a new feature, the car gets tested just to see if it's working. And if it doesn't work, we continue working on it.
And now, due to COVID, how do you still test the cars?
So, like Mama and Papa say that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. I think that's UofT's motto as well. So even though we had a lot of difficulty after post-COVID, we have tried to maintain our functionality. So let me just summarize this in a bit. So UofT is a big research facility. They're big on research. So they can't keep their labs shut for the entire time. They had to open it up. And because the labs had to open up, our testing facilities also had to open up. So they did open up our testing facilities eventually, but with some rules and regulations. For instance, one of the rules was that no more than 2 people can enter a lab at one time. So we have been following those rules. It's been tough because we've all been working collaboratively, and we work in big numbers, but we have been adjusting and sort of working our way around it. Um, it's been slow. I wouldn't say it's as accelerated as it was initially. It's been slow, but we're still doing the best that we can.
Yeah, that's right that people are taking more safety precautions, but since everyone's widespread all across the world, how do you interact online, like over calls? How do you still test for these autonomous cars online?
Right. So, well, a lot of the team is online, but a lot of them are offline as well. For instance, the natives of Canada, they're still working from the country, from Canada itself. So whoever is in Canada, in Toronto, they go and visit these labs and testing facilities and test the cars. While those working online, they either get video called, or they're like we have weekly meetings. So those weekly meetings, we show everyone our part of the work that we've done, and the testing. So everybody sends in their work to the people who are there in person. So whoever's in person, they get the work, and they put it up in the car. So yeah, it's collaborative, but we're doing it. Yeah.
So the people online, they must be collaborating and probably giving instructions to the people working offline, like the
Offline.
Canadian.
That's right.
Right.
Mhm.
And when can we expect to see aUToronto's autonomous cars on the road?
TBH, not soon, because there's a lot that goes into making a self-driving car, but there's a lot that goes into bringing any technology on the streets, or any technology on your hand. Like there's even a mobile phone. I'm pretty sure they went through a lot of thought before giving it to you. So there's a lot of thought that goes into any technology. Um, I think self-driving cars are a little bit more difficult than any technology that has come before, because there's a lot of ethical issues that come into play here. Let me give you an example. So, for instance, if there are 3 lanes, all right, one, two, three, and you have a self-driving car that's in the middle, and then on your right you have one car, and on your left you have another car, and you know that your self-driving car is bound to have an accident. Whether that accident, now it's up to you whether that accident should happen if it swerves to the right or if it swerves to the left. So how do engineers design for such a situation? Do we design that it should swerve to the left and kill the car on the left, or do we design that it should swerve to the right and kill the people in the car on the right? How do we take that decision? What are we designing or engineering to kill? We can't take that decision for someone, because when a person is driving, it's an instant reaction, it's an instant decision. But we are designing this car to take decisions on the road. How will it take that decision? So this is an ethical issue that comes up, and several more like that that come up when we're talking about self-driving cars. And that's the reason why it's not going to be coming up anytime soon. Obviously, we have some technological barriers, but I feel like those still have the ability to get covered up. But the ethical issues are the ones that are gonna take real long. Mhm.
I think that the entire car is like a puzzle piece, and when you'll be completing that puzzle piece, it's the last piece when you put inside a puzzle. That sense of satisfaction when you see. I am waiting for the day when I see AU Toronto's autonomous cars on the road. I can't, and I
Mhm.
myself will. If you guys put it on sale, I myself will buy one of those cars when I get older, of course.
Yeah, yeah. You and me both. We're both waiting for technology to hit that sweet spot where ethical issues don't matter anymore.
Yeah. And you've also taken a minor in AI. So, what do you think about robots rapidly taking over the world now?
I definitely don't think robots are taking over the world or will take over the world anytime soon, because, in my opinion, technological advancement is horribly slow. I had imagined as a child that by 2020 we'll have flying cars, and I'm going to be sitting in those flying cars and going places, and we're going to have drone. We have drones. Like, okay, wait, let me say this. So we're going to have drones, and we're going to have no environmental destruction because we would have found some solution. I had faith in technology as a child. And I remember drawing all of these things out for drawing competitions, drawing sci-fi worlds that I wanted to be a part of. And I thought, oh, 2020, that'll be done. 2050, or 2050, we would have reached some other level of scientific beauty. But I think it's horribly slow. I'm not complaining, but I think I would have loved it if technological advancement would be accelerated. But at the end of the day, like I said in my previous answer, we have ethical issues. So these are people's lives. You're injecting people's lives with new technology, some of which is not even a quote unquote need right now, right? Like we don't think it's a need unless you know that it is something that you needed all your life. But these are something that we're injecting into people's lives, and as engineers, it's important that we design for people. It's important that we design for the greater good of the world. We need to design in a way that people are comfortable using the technology that they're using. And our technology should impact the world and possibly even the universe positively. So I think that's what slows down a lot of engineers. Uh, the fact that we're at the end of the day designing for people, that's what slows us down. But I'm very happy that we are doing a lot of research on all fronts, whether it's agriculture. With agriculture, you have vertical farms that are being created, greenhouses that are highly tech powered. So you look at any industry, transport, self-driving cars, hydrogen powered cars. You have so much happening, so much technological advancement. So there's a lot of research going into all of this, which makes me very happy. And I'd want to be a part of this research now and for the rest of my life.
I think, like you said, that 2020 was that one year we all thought that there'll be flying cars or robots at everyone's houses, doing giving us a lot of benefits. But I think 2020 turned the complete opposite. Instead of rapid technological advances, now everything's completely slow. In fact, everyone's just trapped in their houses due to quarantine. So
Mhm.
it's really sad how COVID just turned our world around. But yeah, I think that now due to technological advances, I would even consider smart fridges or even the autonomous cars as robots in a way.
Mhm.
Like so like how first we had to manually do all this stuff. Now
Mhm.
we'll have robots doing all those things for us. So do you think that
Yeah.
makes humanity redundant?
No, I don't think anything can make humans or humanity at large redundant, or so I hope, because we never want to reach that Black Mirror level dystopian society. I think that's when we reach that level, that is when people and environment suffers. So we sort of want to be like a pendulum where we go to the right, go to the left, and suddenly reach a balance. That balance is where that sweet spot is. And I think eventually we will reach that.
But don't you think that some workers that like how manual workers, don't you think they will get replaced?
Yeah, that's also an ethical issue that comes up. So yeah, that it's true. A lot of people lose their jobs because of capital. You've studied this in economics. A lot of people get replaced. Um, but I think if we work correctly, then it's these big technological names or big technological firms that can again that they will also hire more people. So I feel like it's all round circle. Eventually we will reach a balance, or so I hope. But yeah, I mean, I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for what will happen to the people who go who will get redundant, because again, that's an ethical issue, and I don't have the answers to the ethical issues yet.
I think we
Hopefully I
just
will reach them. Sorry,
I think we
go
just
ahead.
probably need to wait and see how everything shapes out to be.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
yeah. And are there any projects that you hopefully want to work in the future?
uh, I'm gonna be a cool engineer here and say that there's a lot of there are some projects that I'm working on, but they're confidential. So I don't want to give up a lot of my information right now. But let's just say that big things are coming up soon.
I guess we'll never know, guys. Then we just have to wait and watch now. And after your education, what will your main focus be after you're done with your undergrad? What will your main focus be? Which direction would you like to go towards?
Fabulous question. I don't have an answer to this. Well, I think I am still exploring, and I want to explore all fronts and all industries just to understand which one best fits me, and which one I enjoy working in the most. So currently, both research and industry level work interests me, and I enjoy engineering as a whole. But one thing's for sure, I definitely want to be a part of designing for the future and designing so that it benefits humanity at large. So that's the goal. Like that's something I really want to do. Um, but let's see what industry best fits me.
Yeah, it all seems so exciting. I'm excited for you. And also, like, that's it for today. But I want to say thank you so much for coming on. I see you working really hard on these autonomous cars and everything. I think this is the most I've complimented you, but you deserve it. And I'm sure you will do great in the future as well, since I see you working so hard and leading everyone in your team so nicely. But thank you so much for
Thanks.
coming on. Is there
Mhm.
anything you want to say before we log off?
Well, I just want to say I've never heard Rihanna compliment me so much. All I hear every day is, Didi, why are you doing this? Didi, why are you doing that? So I'm just glad that this podcast gave her an opportunity to compliment the
Yeah,
best.
yeah, probably the
And
last time, but okay. I'm kidding.
I'm just so thankful that we had this discussion. I'm glad that we had the discussion about engineering and we got some great insights. So good luck with your podcast. I'm very happy that you've opened something that is STEM related. I think it's great you're encouraging people your age and girls your age especially. I think we need women in STEM. So thank you for that.
Yes, so definitely, I completely agree. And just to let all of you know, this podcast is now available on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Radio Public, and PocketCasts. Make sure you subscribe to all listening platforms. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.